Hello, everybody. We're going to go to Washington.
Ms. Squally, what's the first matter?
That will be Mr. Maloto.
Maloto, thank you so much.
No problem. Maloto.
Are you Mr. Maloto?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And good morning, council.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
Your Honor, Kelsey Alt on behalf of Pacific Point Defense. I do believe that Mr. Maloto qualifies for our office, and we are ready to proceed with the arraignment.
Thank you very much. Mr. Maloto, I have in front of me a statement of defendant on rights of arraignment. Have you had a chance to review this document with your attorney, Ms. Alt?
Yes.
Do you have any questions about those rights?
No, sir.
Are you a veteran or active duty service member?
A veteran.
I'm sorry?
A veteran?
You're a veteran.
Yes.
Thank you, Ms. Alt. Not today, but I would of obviously entrust to you consulting with your client regarding Veterans Court. Ms. Alt, do you have any record to make regarding probable cause?
Yes, we'll acknowledge receipt of the complaint, waive formal reading, ask the court to enter plea of not guilty and stipulate to probable cause.
I'll accept the stipulation of probable cause for purposes of this hearing only. I'll enter a plea of not guilty for Mr. Maloto. And I have on my specific that Mr. Rusnack's. Do you work with Mr. Rusnack, Ms. Alt?
I don't.
The reason I ask is that
I'm sorry, Your Honor, I'm just filling in on the public defender calendar, so I'm not sure.
Got it. On my form, Ms. Alt, I can click Horwath Law or Matthew Rusnack. And I did not know that there was a change to Pacific Point. So
No, we don't have.
I will mark Horwath.
You can do Horwath, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Gunderson.
Good morning again, Your Honor. Will Gunderson, prosecuting for the city. Your Honor, I'm going to respectfully defer to the court on the issue of bail. I do see that there are a couple of outstanding warrants. However, the defendant has fairly limited history. With regards to the other conditions of release, Your Honor, I would ask that the court order defendant to maintain law-abiding behavior, appear at future court hearings, notify the court if there's any change in address. Because this is alleged to have been DV nature, I'm going to ask that the court order defendant not to possess any firearms or dangerous weapons. The city is not requesting a separate order prohibiting contact at this point, but I would ask that the court make it a condition of release that the defendant abide by the current order that is in place. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Alt.
My client has been in Washington for 15 years. He has family here. He has a child that he cares for, a 6-year-old here. It doesn't look like there's any significant DCH, so we would ask for PR.
Mr. Maloto, I do note that this is the second case where there's probable cause to believe you violated a protection order protecting the exact same person. You have an active warrant in the other matter. And so here's the thing, Mr. Maloto, I see a lot of people at the, who have gotten a lot of criminal history, domestic violence related history, who have big, long criminal histories that start the way you're starting.
Okay.
And you are at an opportunity to either, and I'm not asking you to admit any facts because this is an arraignment. You are at a point in your life now where you get to make a decision. You're at a crossroads and you get to either start complying with your requirements and start taking these things seriously, or I would not be surprised if they start really becoming a problem for you moving forward. I'm not asking you to agree with me, but do you understand what I'm saying?
I understand.
Frankly, I'm going to look at this matter right now on the docket and see whether or not you've actually appeared when you've been told to appear. In Lakewood, okay, here's what I'm going to do. I am going to release you today on your promise to return. I'm going to order that you not have any firearms, and I'm going to order you also clear up any warrants.
Okay.
Here's the other thing I'm going to say to you, Mr. Maloto. I noticed that the last address you gave, the one that you had when you were booked, is in Lakewood.
Yes.
I'm not going to ask who was there. My guess, though, is that it's probably not someone not a good idea to be at that address. And I am going to order you to comply with all court orders. As I said to you before, this is your chance to actually take this seriously and to actually prevent your criminal history from going in a very bad direction. Got me?
I understand.
Okay. So your next steps are going to determine where that goes. You have the power to do that. You're ordered to clear up any warrants. You are ordered to abide by all court orders, every single one regarding no contact orders. You are not to have criminal law violations. You are to appear when ordered. Your next hearing is July 30th at 2 p.m. Do you have any questions about the conditions that I have imposed on you today?
No, sir.
You're to quash the warrants in Tacoma Municipal Court
What was that?
before July 30th.
Your Honor, did the court appoint for Waffle Law?
I did, thank you. Ms. Alt, if you can review the order and sign if appropriate. And Ms. Squally, while that's being reviewed, do we know who will be next? I just realized that, but thank you for the heads up.
Sorry, Your Honor, my courts is kind of slow. I'm just trying to.
I understand, thank you. There it is, it came through, Ms. Alt.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I've signed the order. This is an inflection point, sir. I hope you're going to make the right decision. That concludes your matter.
I appreciate it.
Sir, are you Jeffrey Davies?
Yes, sir.
All right. Mr. Davies, I have in front of me a statement of defendant rights at arraignment. Have you had the opportunity to review these rights with your attorney, Ms. Alt?
I thought so.
I'm sorry, what?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Go ahead, Ms. Alt.
Your Honor, we will acknowledge receipt of the complaint, waive formal reading, and ask the court to enter a plea of not guilty. Will stipulate to probable cause for purpose of setting conditions of release. Also, I do believe he qualifies and would ask that the court appoint our office.
I'll appoint Horwath Law to represent, and I will also accept the stipulation of probable cause for purposes of this hearing only, and also the enter a plea of not guilty. Sir, are you a veteran or an active duty service member?
No, sir.
All right, go ahead, Mr. Gunderson.
Thank you, Your Honor. I want to provide some additional context so the court understands why the city is making the request that it is. The allegations in this case are, Your Honor, that a witness observed the defendant ripping the side view mirrors off of 4 separate vehicles. Your Honor, in another case here just last year at about the same time in Lakewood, very similar allegations where the defendant was observed ripping side view mirrors off of vehicles, causing significant monetary damage to those vehicles. Your Honor, the defendant's history is replete with similar instances of criminal conduct. City certainly acknowledges that a lot of those charges have been dismissed. Nevertheless, Your Honor, it's the city's belief that the defendant constitutes a menace to society, to the public, that if he is released, there is a substantial likelihood that he will reoffend. In order to keep the public safe, also taking into consideration defendant's prior warrant history with current active warrants, city is going to ask the court entertain its request for $7,500 cash or bond. I'd also ask that the court order defendant to maintain law-abiding behavior, appear at future hearings, notify the court if there's any change in address. Nothing further.
You have a sense, or does your report indicate the value of the damage?
It was the law enforcement's estimate that the defendant caused approximately $700 damage to each vehicle.
And there were 4 vehicles.
Correct, Your Honor.
Ms. Alt.
Your Honor, I would ask for PR release. He's been in Washington his whole life. He does have family here. He's currently working with Friendly Pathways on finding housing. I did speak to him about the warrant in King County. It sounds like he's aware of it. Wasn't sure which court he needed to go to in order to resolve that. It sounded like he was confused if he needed to go to the Redmond or the Seattle or the RJC courthouse. I did speak to him about that. And I'm hoping that he can get in contact with his attorney there to clear that up. So again, would ask for a PR release.
I have an address on Steilacoom Boulevard Southwest in Lakewood. Is that your best mailing address, sir?
Yes. Yes.
Ugh. All times for jabs to freeze up. There we go. Of course, no time is a good time for jabs to freeze up. Well, sir, I struggle to, as I evaluate your case, here's the rationality behind my ruling. I struggle to understand why someone would need to rip mirrors off of vehicles.
I really hate to do
I'm not-
that, sir.
I'm not asking you any questions, sir. I'm
Oh,
just
sorry.
telling you my ruling
Okay.
and my rationale. What's before me is I have probable cause that's been established that that's what happened. Damages approximately $2,800. And the request from the city is $7,500, which your attorneys asked for a PR release. 7,500 seems low to me. I'm going to order $10,000 bail today. And I don't mean that as an insult to the people requesting it, but I'm not sure why this is something someone would do. And that makes me concerned about safety to the community. It also makes me concerned that I see active warrants where we have an address on record. And these active warrants, the reason given for not going and being there is he didn't know what court it was, which says to me that maybe you don't notice what court you're supposed to be in, which makes me concerned about whether you're going to show up for Lakewood Municipal Court. So given those, I am going to order $10,000 bail, cash or bond, and you will be required to appear. When is he in custody? Yeah, we can do a week out. I'll grab it. June 12th, 10 a.m.? No, 11 a.m. We'll see you back here on June 12th at 11 a.m. If you post bond, then you will be required to appear on July 30th at 2 p.m. You have no law-abiding behavior violations. You're to appear timely for your court hearings. You're to update your address the minute it changes. You're to use your true and legal name and date of birth. Law-abiding behavior means that you do not damage the property of other people or do not damage the property of others. Do you have any questions about your conditions of release, sir?
Does it mean getting candy?
What's that?
Does it mean eat candy?
What's your question?
Can I eat candy when I get out?
Can you get candy? Is that what you asked?
Yes, sir.
Not a question I can answer at this time. But do you have any questions about your conditions of release?
Can I go to Mexico?
What's that?
Can I go to Mexico on vacation?
These conditions of release do not have any travel restrictions in them. And if you have additional questions, I want you to contact Ms. Alt. You understand?
I think so.
Okay. Ms. Alt, obviously I'll want you to take a look at and evaluate any 1077 concerns, okay?
Correct. I will make sure the attorney assigned to the case does that.
Understood. There are 4 matters. There's $10,000. That's $2,500 on each count.
Using my mother's.
Hey, if the parties can review that order and sign if appropriate.
Your Honor, although the city cannot sign, the city believes that the pretrial conditions of release form does conform with the court's ruling. Thank you.
Thank you. I have signed the order. That concludes your matter, sir. I believe that concludes our matters in Nisqually. Nisqually, thank you very much. Ms. Alt, thank you very much.
Be safe, be well, sleep sweet, and much love.